battlefield was burning. Silver dust floated through the air, mixing with smoke and broken metal. The ground of planet Relan trembled as alien cannons fired again, shaking the black sky. Among the ruins, a single human soldier, Eli Ward, stood alive. His armor was cracked, blood running down his arm, but his grip on the plasma rifle didn't shake. Around him, alien bodies, blue-skinned warriors of the Vareth Empire, lay silent. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was just a rescue pilot. But when the fleet fell, he stayed behind. Because of her. From the shadows, a tall figure walked through the smoke. Her silver robes dragged on the ash. Her skin glowed faintly in the dim light. Empress Salith, ruler of the Vareth. Once feared. Now wounded, a cut ran down her shoulder, glowing faintly gold instead of red. "Why are you still here, human?" she asked, her voice weak but sharp. Eli looked up. "Because you'd be dead without me." Her golden eyes narrowed. "You risk your life for a dying empire." He shook his head. "No, for someone who didn't give up when she could have run." For a long moment, the Empress said nothing. Then a strange softness crossed her face. Her empire had betrayed her. Her generals had fled after the defeat. Only this human had stayed. She stepped closer, her tall frame casting a shadow over him. "You are in pain," she said. He laughed dryly. "That makes two of us." A blast echoed nearby, throwing dust and fire into the sky. Eli pulled her down behind a wrecked hover tank, just as another explosion tore open the ground. The Empress winced as debris hit her back. He turned, seeing her hand shaking. "You're bleeding," he said. "It does not matter," she whispered. "Pain reminds me I'm still alive." Then she leaned close, her lips almost touching his ear, and said softly, "If it hurts, let it hurt. Just don't stop." Her words froze him. He didn't understand at first, but when he looked into her eyes, he saw it, the fire that still burned behind her calm. The will of a queen who refused to die kneeling. A transmission came through his damaged helmet, human command ordering evacuation. But Eli looked at her, then at the ruins around them, and said quietly, "I'm not leaving without you." She blinked, almost disbelieving. "You would defy your kind for me?" "I already did," he said, gripping his weapon again. From the ridge above, enemy drones swarmed, black machines sent by her own traitorous generals to finish her off. Eli raised his rifle, eyes narrowing. "Guess we'll make our stand here." She rose beside him, her golden staff glowing. "Then we will fall like stars, together." The battle began again. Energy bolts cut through the smoke. Eli's shots were fast and clean. The Empress's magic tore through metal and fire. Together they looked unstoppable, but both were bleeding, their energy fading fast. Finally, when the last drone exploded, silence fell again. The Empress leaned against him, weak but smiling faintly. "You humans," she whispered. "You burn so bright even when dying." Eli looked at her with a half-smile. "And you aliens, you hide your heart behind thrones." Her fingers brushed his face, a brief wordless connection between enemies who had become something else. The cold wind carried her earlier words again in his mind. "If it hurts, let it hurt, just don't stop." He didn't know yet what those words meant, but he knew they would carry him through whatever came next. When morning came, two suns rose over the broken world of Relan. The sky shimmered in gold and pale blue, washing the battlefield in strange, ghostly light. Smoke still rose from the ruins, and silence filled the air where thousands had fought. Eli Ward woke to that silence. His armor was cracked, his body bruised. The Empress sat nearby, her silver robe torn, her glowing blood still faintly tracing lines across her arm. She was staring at the horizon where her capital once stood. "It's gone," she whispered. "Everything I ruled burned away." Eli stood, limping. "Then we start again." She looked at him, confused. "You think an empire can be rebuilt by two broken creatures?" He smiled faintly. "It's how every story starts. Someone decides not to give up." For the first time, the Empress laughed, a quiet, tired sound that seemed too human. "You speak like a fool," she said. "Maybe," Eli replied. "But I'm your fool now." Her golden eyes softened, but before she could speak, a distant rumble echoed from the east. The Empress rose instantly, eyes narrowing. "They are coming," she said. "The traitors who took my throne. They will finish what they started." Eli checked his rifle. "Then they'll meet me first," she shook her head. "You cannot fight an army, human." "I can buy time," he said simply. But before he could take another step, the Empress placed her hand on his chest. Her touch glowed faintly gold. "No," she whispered. "You will not die for me." "Not yet," he frowned. "What are you doing?" Her voice turned soft but commanding. "On my world, when two souls fight side by side, they share pain and strength." She lifted her staff and drew a glowing line across her palm. The golden blood shimmered like liquid fire. Then she held it out to him. Eli hesitated. "What is this?" "A blood oath," she said. "You take it and our lives become bound. If you fall, I fall. If I die, you die." He stared at her. "That's insane." "Perhaps," she whispered. "But you already defied your kind for me. This only seals it." Eli looked into her eyes. He saw no fear, only truth. Slowly, he drew his own knife, cut his palm, and pressed it against hers. Light burst between them, gold and red twisting together into a burning flame that wrapped their hands. For a moment he felt her heartbeat echo inside his chest, and she felt his. When the light faded, both fell to their knees, breathing heavily. "It's done," she said quietly. "We are one life now." Eli smiled weakly. "That sounds complicated." Her lips curved slightly. "Welcome to royalty." But before they could rest, the horizon split open with motion, black hovercrafts rushing over the dunes, bearing the symbol of her betrayer, General Tarek. The Empress's expression turned cold. "He was my protector once," she said bitterly. "Now he hunts me like prey." Eli loaded his rifle again. "Then let's remind him what happens when prey bites back." The first blast struck nearby, throwing sand and flame into the air. Eli fired from behind a wreck, taking down a drone. The Empress raised her staff, unleashing waves of golden energy that shattered the enemy formation. Together they fought like one mind, one breath, their movements perfectly in sync. But the numbers were endless. The traitors kept coming. Eli took a hit to the shoulder. She gasped as if feeling it herself. Their bond worked both ways. Her magic flickered each time he bled. "Eli," she shouted. "You cannot take more." He gritted his teeth. "Then stop feeling it." She closed her eyes and did something desperate, channeling the bond deeper. Her power surged through him, repairing the wound burning with golden light. For a moment he stood taller, his eyes glowing faintly gold like hers. He looked at his hands in shock. "What did you—" "I shared my life," she said. "Don't waste it." Fueled by her strength, Eli charged again, blasting through the enemy line until the last hovercraft fell silent. The desert wind returned. When it was over, the Empress stood beside him, her energy fading. "You risked your soul for me," she whispered. He turned to her. "You told me not to stop." "So I didn't," she smiled faintly. "Then perhaps humanity deserves a throne beside mine." As the twin suns dipped low, their joined shadows stretched long over the sand, a symbol of something new born from war and pain. Night came to planet Relan like a slow-falling storm. Dark clouds covered the twin suns, and cold rain began to fall over the scorched desert. Drops sizzled against hot metal and dying fires. Eli Ward and Empress Salith took shelter inside a collapsed temple built of black crystal, the last place her loyalists once prayed. Eli sat beside the entrance, rifle across his knees. His armor was patched with scraps. The Empress knelt near a broken altar, tracing symbols in the dust with her finger. The golden glow of her blood still pulsed faintly beneath her skin. "You should rest," he said quietly. She shook her head. "Sleep is for those who feel safe. We are not safe." Lightning flashed through the shattered ceiling. For a moment Eli saw her face, tired but strong. He admired how she carried her pain like a crown. He sighed. "You said your general betrayed you." "Why?" She stopped drawing. "Because I refused to destroy your world." Eli blinked. "Earth?" She nodded slowly. "Tarek believed humanity would one day rise and challenge us. He wanted war. I wanted peace. So he poisoned my council, took my fleet, and called me weak." Her voice trembled, not from fear but anger buried deep. "He wanted me gone." Eli clenched his fists. "Then we make him regret it." The Empress smiled faintly. "Vengeance sounds simple in human tongues." He met her gaze. "It's not vengeance, it's justice." Before she could reply, the temple's floor vibrated. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside, a low roar rolled across the dunes, engines, dozens. The Empress rose, her staff glowing bright gold. "He found us." A voice echoed from outside, amplified through speakers. "Salith, come out, my queen, bring your human pet with you. I promise a merciful death, Eli smirked. Merciful, huh? That's a new word for tyrants. The Empress looked toward the entrance. Tarek, she whispered. He dares speak like a ruler. A shadow stepped through the rain, a tall alien in black armor, his eyes red with cybernetic light. General Tarek. His soldiers surrounded the ruins, weapons humming. I should have ended you on the palace steps, he said coldly, but I wanted the galaxy to see your fall. Salith's voice was calm. You ended yourself the moment you bowed to fear. He laughed. Fear built empires. Love destroyed yours, he pointed at Eli. And this thing is your undoing. Eli raised his rifle. This thing just ruined your army. In one motion, Tarek fired. A beam of black energy ripped through the temple. Eli dove aside, the blast grazing his leg. Pain shot up his side, but the Empress gasped too, clutching her chest. Their bond made them share the pain. Eli shouted, Stop! You'll feel what I feel. She gritted her teeth. Then fight harder. Golden light burst from her staff, clashing against Tarek's dark energy. The storm roared louder as lightning struck the temple, tearing open the roof. Rain poured through, hissing against the glowing ground. Eli crawled closer, firing bursts at the enemy soldiers while the Empress faced Tarek directly. The air between them burned gold and black. Your reign ends tonight, Tarek yelled. No, she answered softly. It begins again, with truth. She thrust her staff forward. The golden light exploded, blinding everyone. When the smoke cleared, Tarek's soldiers were scattered, their weapons melted. But the general himself still stood, wounded yet smiling. You've grown weak, he hissed. Sharing your blood with a human broke you. Salith stepped forward. It made me whole. Eli limped to her side, supporting her with one arm. We're not done yet. Tarek tilted his head. Oh, you're done. You just don't know it. He pressed a button on his wrist. A small metallic sphere rose into the air and expanded. A drone carrying a dark crystal core. The Empress's eyes widened. A soulbreaker bomb. It will destroy everything living in 10 miles. Eli looked at her. Can you stop it? Not alone, she said. But together? Maybe. They clasped hands again. The bond between them blazed brighter than ever. Gold and red twisting like fire. They poured all their strength into the staff, directing it toward the hovering bomb. Tarek shouted, You'll die! Eli grinned through the pain. We already did when we stopped being cowards. The explosion came like the birth of a star. Light, sound, and heat swallowing the temple whole. When the dust settled, Tarek was gone. The bomb had been contained, the desert turned to glass. Eli and the Empress lay side by side in the ruins, still breathing. Their hands were locked, the golden mark of their oath glowing faintly. She turned her head weakly toward him. If it hurts, he finished, whispering back. Let it hurt. Just don't stop. Above them, the first dawn broke through the storm, soft light touching a new world trying to be reborn. When Eli opened his eyes, the world was gold and quiet. The temple was gone. The dunes were melted into glass. In the center of the crater lay two figures, one human, one alien, still joined by light. He coughed and rolled onto his side. His armor had fused into the skin, his body half burned but alive. The Empress lay a few feet away, her chest rising slowly, her staff cracked in two beside her. Salith. His voice broke as he crawled closer. Hey, stay with me. Her eyes flickered open. Golden tears rolled down her cheeks. You stopped the bomb. We stopped it, he corrected, sitting beside her. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind was soft, carrying the smell of scorched air. High above, the twin suns fought to break through the smoke. Then Eli noticed something strange. His hand was faintly glowing. Lines of gold ran beneath his skin, pulsing with life. What's happening to me? He asked. The Empress looked at him sadly. The blood oath is changing you. Changing how? You are no longer fully human. My life is inside you now, and yours inside me. Eli stared at his hand again, flexing his fingers. He felt stronger, but not only in muscle. He could sense her heartbeat, her breath, even her thoughts flickering like sparks at the edge of his mind. Guess that means I can't hide secrets anymore, he said, trying to smile. She smiled faintly back. You never could, but peace didn't last long. From the northern horizon came the hum of engines again, this time heavier, deeper. A fleet of black carriers approached, dragging shadows across the dunes. The symbol of Tarek's army glowed on their hulls. Eli stood, jaw tight. He survived. Salith forced herself up, leaning on the broken staff. No, this is his full force. He's bringing the entire war to end us. He looked at her, then at the desert. We can't fight an army here. Her eyes shone. There is one place we can go. My mother's vault, hidden under the crystal mountains. It holds the heart of Vareth. If I reach it, I can awaken the old power of my people. Eli nodded. Then let's move. They walked through the burning wasteland, their shadows long against the glassy ground. The bond kept them alive, each step in sync, each pain shared. When Eli stumbled, she felt it. When she bled, he winced. Hours later, the mountains appeared, tall spires of blue crystal piercing the clouds. But as they approached the canyon pass, a voice echoed through the air. Running, my queen. Tarek's voice, closer than before. Dozens of black drones dropped from the sky, surrounding them. Tarek stepped forward, scarred but smiling. His armor was cracked, half melted, yet his red eyes burned brighter than ever. I underestimated you, he said, but now you're exhausted. Your little human can barely stand. Eli raised his rifle anyway. Try me. Tarek laughed. You think love can win wars? Salith stepped forward, calm and regal even in blood. It already did. You just never learned to feel it. He lifted his weapon. Then let's end this lesson. The first shot fired. Eli jumped in front of her, the beam hit his chest. He fell to one knee, gasping, light bursting from the wound. Salith screamed, clutching her heart. She felt every bit of it. Eli, she cried, catching him. He forced a weak grin. If it hurts, she whispered back, tears glowing gold. Let it hurt. Don't stop. She placed her palm on his wound. Her power surged through him, golden veins spreading across his armor. The ground trembled. The air filled with light. Tarek staggered back. What are you doing? The Empress rose, holding Eli's hand. Their eyes blazed with the same color, human red mixed with alien gold. Through fire and flesh, she said, her voice echoing with ancient power. We rise as one. A massive shockwave erupted outward. The drones exploded midair. The sand turned to shimmering glass. Tarek fell to his knees, covering his face as the storm of light consumed the valley. When it ended, silence ruled again. Eli stood whole. The wound was gone. The mark of the blood oath now glowed across his chest like a living symbol. He looked at the Empress. Guess I'm part of your kind now. She smiled softly. No, you are the bridge between ours. They turned toward the crystal mountains, where the ancient vault awaited, the key to saving both species. Behind them, Tarek's shadow moved again, crawling from the ashes. His eyes burned brighter than before. You can't kill what hate keeps alive, he hissed. Neither looked back. They kept walking through fire and flesh toward the fate waiting beyond the mountains. The twin suns rose together over Relan for the first time in years. Their golden light stretched across the valleys, touching every new roof and every scar of war that had begun to heal. The world that once burned with hate now shimmered with life. Eli Ward stood on a high cliff above the rebuilt capital. His armor, cleaned and reforged, bore the symbol of the heart of Vareth across the chest, a bright golden pulse that beat in rhythm with his steady breath. Behind him fluttered a new banner, half human blue, half Vareth gold. Two worlds joined under one light. Children played below, some human, some alien, their laughter echoing through the air where once cannons had screamed. For the first time since the war began, Raylan sounded alive. A Vareth messenger approached, bowing deeply. Ambassador Ward, the council awaits you. Eli smiled faintly at the title. Ambassador. Sounds strange after soldier. The messenger tilted her head. You fought for peace. That makes you more than a soldier. He nodded, following her into the new crystal hall. Inside waited leaders from both sides. Human commanders in silver coats and alien elders in flowing gold robes. They rose as he entered, their faces calm but uncertain. Eli stood before them. We have buried the war, he began. Now we must plant something better. He paused, feeling a familiar warmth in his chest, the faint echo of her heartbeat. It gave him courage. He continued. The Empress dreamed of a world where pain didn't rule us, where strength meant protecting, not destroying. She gave her life for that dream. I carry it now. He looked around the table. So this is our promise. No walls between human and Vareth, no slave, no master, no forgotten child. We rise together or we fall together. Silence filled the hall. Then one by one the leaders bowed their heads. The first treaty between their species was signed that day, sealed not with blood but with light. That night, Eli walked alone to the mountains. The heart of Vareth still floated deep within its chamber, glowing softly. He stood before it, the golden reflection dancing across his face. He whispered, "It's done, Saleth." "They're rebuilding." A gentle hum filled the air, a faint heartbeat answering his words. Her voice came softer than a breath. "You kept your promise, my human." He smiled sadly. "Couldn't have done it without you. You never were without me." He reached out, pressing his palm against the crystal. "I'm heading back to Earth tomorrow. They want me to teach them what we learned here. Then carry my story with you. Tell them pain is not the enemy. Giving up is." Her voice faded into light, the mountain glowing one last time before growing still. Eli lowered his head. "If it hurts, let it hurt," he whispered. "Don't stop." Then he turned and walked away. Years passed. Stories of the human and the Empress spread across the stars. Some called it myth, some called it faith. But for those who remembered, it was hope. And on a quiet evening aboard a human colony ship orbiting Relan, Eli stood by the window, watching the planet shine below. The mark on his chest glowed faintly, still alive after all those years. He smiled. "You see it, Saleth? They finally learned to build, not burn." Outside the window, the suns of Relan rose together again, their light touching every world that once feared the dark. Moral message. Love and pain are two edges of the same blade. One cuts, the other heals. But together, they shape the strength that keeps humanity and every heart in the galaxy alive. The crystal mountains rose like frozen lightning under the twin suns. Sharp blue peaks cut the clouds and the air shimmered with strange energy. Eli Ward and Empress Saleth climbed through the narrow pass, the air humming around them as if the mountains themselves were alive. Every step hurt. Eli's armor was torn, his body heavy, but the golden light inside him, born of their blood oath, kept him moving. When he stumbled, she steadied him. When she slowed, he took her hand. At last they reached a valley hidden between two glowing cliffs. In the center stood a massive crystal gate, carved with alien symbols and sealed by light. The Empress stopped, breathing deeply. "This is it," she whispered. "The heart of Vareth." Eli looked up at the gate. "What's inside?" "The source of my people's life and memory," she said softly. "It contains the voices of every emperor and empress before me. It can heal worlds or destroy them." She placed her palm on the surface. The crystal rippled like water. "It will only open for a true heir," she murmured, "and one willing to bear the pain of their sins." The mountain shook. The crystal split, revealing a corridor filled with floating light. Eli followed her inside. The air was warm and alive, like breathing through sunlight. Golden symbols glowed around them as they walked. Each symbol showed images from Saleth's past, her childhood, her rise to power, the wars she fought, and the planets that burned because of her orders. Eli glanced at her. "Is this your memory?" "Yes," she said quietly. "Every empress faces hers before touching the heart. It does not forgive lies." They reached a wide chamber where a giant crystal sphere floated above the floor, pulsing like a living heart. Light from it washed over Eli and Saleth in waves of gold and blue. "This is the core," she whispered. "If I bond with it, I can restore my world, but the heart will demand a price." He frowned. "What price?" She looked at him sadly. "Life for life. To heal Vareth, someone must die." Eli took a step back. "No." "Eli," he shook his head. "You've already lost everything. You're not losing yourself too." But before she could answer, the ground shook again. A roar echoed through the chamber. The crystal walls cracked open as dark smoke poured in. From it emerged General Tarek, his armor half melted, his eyes glowing red. "You lead me well, my queen," he mocked. "The heart belongs to me now." Eli aimed his rifle, but Tarek was faster. He hurled a dark spear of energy that slammed Eli against the wall. The human fell, blood on his lips. Saleth screamed, feeling the pain through their bond. Tarek laughed. "The bond makes you weak. When he bleeds, you bleed." Eli forced himself up. "Yeah, but when I fight, she fights too." He rushed forward as the Empress raised her staff. Golden and black light collided, shattering the crystals around them. The heart of Vareth pulsed brighter, feeding on their energy, the room glowing like a sun. Tarek snarled. You can't win, Salith. You were never fit to rule, she answered softly. Maybe not. But I can still save them. She grabbed Eli's hand and pushed it against the heart. Together, she whispered. Light exploded around them, binding their souls to the core. Pain rushed through Eli like fire, but he heard her voice inside his mind. If it hurts, let it hurt. Don't stop. They poured their combined life into the heart. It flared like a supernova, waves of pure energy rushing out across Raylan, healing the cracked desert and reviving the dead lands. But the light also burned away Tarek, turning him to dust in seconds. When it ended, silence returned. The heart dimmed to a gentle glow. Eli and Salith collapsed beside it, their hands still linked. He looked at her weakly. You did it. No, she whispered. We did, but he noticed her light was fading. Her skin turned pale, her eyes dimming. Salith, no. She smiled softly. The heart took its price. It chose me. Tears burned his eyes. I won't let you go. Her hand touched his face. Then remember me. Carry our bond. Let it hurt. And keep fighting. The light around her flickered one last time, and then she was gone, dissolved into golden dust that rose toward the heart. Eli fell to his knees, silent, but when he looked down, the mark on his chest still glowed. A faint heartbeat echoed inside him. Not his own. The wind across the crystal valley was soft now. The sky above Reland had changed, clear, golden, and alive. The war was over. But peace had come with a price. Eli Ward walked alone beneath the twin suns. His armor, once dull and broken, now shimmered faintly with gold veins, living light that pulsed to the rhythm of a heartbeat that wasn't his own. Every step echoed softly, one human carrying the last echo of a queen. The heart of Vareth floated behind him inside the mountain, glowing steady and calm. It had healed the world, but it had taken Empress Salith's life to do it. Eli stopped on a ridge and looked back at the horizon. You saved them, he whispered. A voice answered inside his mind, soft, warm, and familiar. No, Eli, we saved them. He froze, eyes wide. Salith. The voice was faint but real, echoing through his bond. I am gone, but not lost. The heart kept a piece of me inside you. My last heartbeat lives within yours. Eli closed his eyes. Then you're still here. For as long as you walk, yes. He felt tears burn his eyes, but he smiled. Then we've got work to do. Hours passed. Across the hills, small ships descended, survivors of the Vareth Empire. Soldiers, workers, and children stepped out, staring at the reborn land. They expected to find their empress. Instead, they found a human carrying her light. An armored commander approached, weapon drawn. Who are you to stand in her place? Eli lifted his hand. The golden mark on his palm flared, casting light across the valley. Every Vareth soldier dropped to one knee instantly. By the heart, the commander whispered, you bear her mark. Eli's voice was steady. She gave everything for you, and now she speaks through me. He looked over the kneeling soldiers. Your empress is gone. But her last order was this: no more hate, no more chains, no more war. Some lowered their heads in grief. Others looked at him with disbelief. But none dared speak. Inside his mind, her voice whispered again. They need guidance, not rule. He nodded slightly. Then I'll give them that. As days turned to weeks, Eli became a bridge between species. He taught the surviving Vareth how to rebuild, how to grow crops on healed soil, how to make peace with human outposts that once feared them. The more he worked, the stronger her voice became, not as a ghost, but as a conscience inside him. She laughed when he made mistakes. She scolded him when he doubted himself. And every night when the stars rose, he felt her heartbeat through his chest like a quiet drum. But one night, he woke suddenly. The golden light in his veins had dimmed. Salith? He whispered. Her voice came softer than ever. The bond is fading, Eli. My heart can't stay forever. It was never meant to. He clenched his fists. I can't lose you again. You never will, as long as you remember what we stood for. He bowed his head. What if I fail? Then rise again. Pain means you're still alive. Remember what I told you, if it hurts. He finished, whispering through tears. Let it hurt. Just don't stop. A warm wind swept through the valley. The golden glow on his chest flickered one last time and settled into a soft, steady light. The Empress's voice faded with the breeze, but Eli didn't collapse in sorrow. He stood tall, facing the twin suns. He understood now. Her legacy wasn't in the light she left behind, but in the will she awakened within him. He whispered, "Goodbye, my Empress." The words floated into the sky, carried by light and wind. Then he turned toward the horizon, toward the half-rebuilt city glowing under morning light. Humans and Varith worked side by side below, building something new. A world not of conquerors and victims, but of survivors. Eli walked down the hill, armor gleaming like sunrise. The mark of the Empress glowed faintly over his heart. It pulsed once, steady and strong. The last heartbeat of the Empress lived on. Not in a throne, not in power, but in a single human who refused to stop.